Thank you again, everybody, for coming out. You ready, Sister? That being stated, today's March 14th. The meeting was scheduled to start at 5. We're going to start officially at 5:22. And we're going to start with our roll call to establish a quorum so we can officially get started. Carmelita Earls, present.
DeAndre Rose, present.
Karen Winters, present.
Okay, it has been determined that we have a quorum. We have more than 2 or 3, 3 or 3, which is 100%. All of us has attended since we started, so that's outstanding. I commend my colleagues for doing so. So we're going to jump right into it. Our second item on the agenda is, first of all, let me back up. Let me thank the young people for taking time out of your schedule to come out and get interested and involved and let us know what's on your mind. We're not just here to talk to you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what would make you more engaged so that we can represent you at the highest level. You know, as I was told as a young person, that if you're not at the table, you're being served. So we don't want to serve you something that you may not be interested in pursuing. So therefore, we want to do what you have to say so that we can be inclusive of your concerns. That being stated, we're going to open it, and I'm sorry, we're going to also thank 15th District, who has never missed a meeting as well. Outstanding. We have a new captain on deck. Captain McGovern is here, and we always have Sergeant Personas, and we appreciate her presence as well. So we're always represented. They're here to let you know that they're concerned about what happens in 15th District. If there's something that we need to say, oh, Carmelo, you want to pull them to the side, by all means, let's do that, because we definitely are here to be served. I just told you about that service thing at the table. So that being said, it's time for second agenda item. It's public comment. We want to hear from you. You came out for a reason, so definitely, by all means. Can we do something a little different? Can you do me a favor and let's start with a slight 30-second roll call introduction, first name only, who you represent. Let's go around the table. How about that?
I'm Nakaya. I'm here this as an individual, not here to the community member.
Outstanding.
Michelle, Representative Ford's office, and the rest of her in Oakwood Task Force.
Outstanding.
Stephen Muria, I'm an Austin resident.
Outstanding.
Chris, the 200 North Laurel Block.
Yes, yes.
Delta 15th District Community Organizer.
Lynetta, that's it.
Outstanding.
I'm Isaiah Brooks. I'm a community outreach coordinator. I support the district council.
And support as well.
Jackie Williams, 300 North Pine, Buckler. And I am Kenya Johnson Brown, 15th District Domestic Violence Co-Chair.
My name is Adia. I represent Project Exploration.
My name is Lawrence, and I'm a youth ambassador. I represent Project Exploration.
All right, wonderful.
I'm Jess, I'm with the Austin Weekly News.
Your Edition, community advocate.
Kenya Hawkins, Your Edition, as well, president and founder.
Outstanding.
Jen Padrosanas, DCO Sergeant here in the 15th District.
And then Jimmy Governor, captain of the 15th District.
Outstanding. Brother at the camera?
Community Corey, here with Project Exploration. Shout out to my young people.
Janicia Williams, Project Exploration, Austin, My Shine, My Future. Dr. Graham, resident.
Fantastic. Okay, now that we know who everyone is, and then of course that's Karen, this is Brother DeAndre, and I'm Carmelita. So that being said, the floor is yours.
So we have 20 minutes for public comment if anyone wants, maybe 10 minutes today.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes. If you have anything that you want us to know at this time, you have 2 minutes to share that with us.
One of the reasons why we do the public comment section is because there may be issues that are happening in or around the community area in which you live. This is a good opportunity to put it out in the air. Because our meetings are for public record, it helps us keep track of those issues as they come about. Also, because we have officers in the building, they are more likely to respond a lot quicker if those issues are stated during the meeting. If you do not want to state what an issue is during the meeting, you can always approach either of us after the meeting, or once we get to the portion where we talk about some of our roles, we can talk about how we can do that a little bit more anonymously so that people feel a little easier about sharing that, whatever information needs to be shared. So that's part of what this comment section is about.
So let me give you, for instance, there's a vacant building on a block that some people that need to be housed has taken up residence. And unfortunately, they're bringing a nuisance to the neighborhood. So therefore, is it Munoz or Martinez?
Probability of Munoz.
Okay, Officer Munoz is very great at taking that information and being an advocate and adjudicator on your behalf and getting that resolved. So there you have it. That's something that you want to bring to the table. Send us to work.
Is this like, where we can ask about like the officers being pulled out of the schools? I don't know how y'all would necessarily.
Whatever public safety concerns you have.
Yeah, because I know like in the 15th district, like they have really close relationships with the schools, like Officer Thigpen at Michelle Clark High School. I don't think there's another officer there, like that impacting the schools and like maybe safety. What is, I guess, like what is y'all stance, or how can we continue to ensure that, you know, that those kids do feel safe? Because they're not just there for safety, they actually make relationships with the students and the kids sometimes. So just, I don't know where y'all can help with that?
I'll just, and this is just me personally, right? This is not me necessarily as a district council woman, because that's a little bit out of our purview, so to speak. But I understand why, I understand both sides, why, you know, we wanna keep police officers in schools, but I also understand some people, sentiment of that's still not necessarily saying that the children are necessarily going to be safe, because it's just addressing a problem and not meeting a problem or getting to the root of a problem. And so what people were proposing is that, you know, some, like, I don't think Austin has a librarian, you know, counselors, RJ, you know, we have this whole, the citywide programs of restorative justice, like we place these things in schools, like it could help circumvent the need for there to be officers in school. However, I personally feel that it should have been up to the individual schools as to whether they want, because if you have a school that does have good relationships with the officers, then, you know, keep that established. But if you have a school where their presence was problematic, then that's a different thing. But I also want to say that I think as community members, we oftentimes are kind of funneled information, right? We really don't have an opportunity to give voice. And so we're talking about how we want to not only revisit this conversation, but also revisit the conversation around ShotSpotter. Because I felt like, first of all, as community members, and again, this is me speaking personally, I just didn't have enough information about it, one way or the other, to say I could, let's get rid of it, or whether I wanted to support it. So I think that's a conversation that, and I know it's been canceled, but it's not like it can't be brought back again. And I think that's a conversation, because a lot of times people who are making these decisions for us do not live in our community.
Correct.
Right, and so I think those are some conversations that we need to have. So I hope that answers your
No?
Actually, my question was about, obviously, like, the 10 city is set up in Columbus Park and 3 or 4 10 set up on Lake Street. Is that like a police department issue function to deal with, you know, those, I think in Columbus Park up on Austin, must be 10, 15 tents, you know, of probably unhoused people. And then on Lake Street, you know, they've started to congregate on Lake Street. You know, I think at this point, there's 3 tents for people. And so I don't know if
that's something we definitely will look into, and you can answer the next meeting. It's a lot of that we're not going to really know much about what's going on. That is an issue, if you know what I mean, because unfortunately a lot of these homeless people have to stay someplace. But if that is becoming, you know, a burden on the neighborhood, or they're interfering with, you know, people trying to use the parks, things like that, that's where we would get involved. So please don't ever hesitate to call 911 if there's any issues like that at all. But we will have our CAPS, we can have our CAPS office. So we have a lot of very dedicated officers that are out there all the time, and we could definitely have them look into it, see what the issues are, see if we could get these individuals housing somewhere else, possibly there's some shelters that would be willing to take them, if they'd be willing to take the help to go to a shelter. A lot of times that's also an issue, so.
So the Westside Task Force has made some kind of communication with them, so we have some data on there. But of course, housing is a challenge, so it's not always easy to pull people out of that situation. We immediately pull them into housing. yeah, there's some kind of relationship that's been done with them.
What kind of data you put?
We like deliver soup to them, we have like soup days on Tuesdays, we go on there and give them soup, we've taken their information, so we have something on them. But that would require a deeper conversation with the task force to see what else is being done.
Because it hasn't always been there, so I'm saying there have always been unhoused people. And so it's just within this last year, like I'm saying, we're talking about 10, 15, 10 setup. I see like a line of laundry, you know, so it's kind of getting a little on the ridiculous side. On Lake Street, I think people complain about an excessive amount of trash, you know, and no garbage, no trash can, so it's kind of like,
Between which blocks on Lake Street?
on Lake Street,
There's Conservatory Park and like Holman.
I'm talking about Lake Street and Austin neighborhood. I'm talking about the
Oh.
50,
It's
I wanna
vacant
say
lot,
between Menard and, Mayfield.
That's a family there. There's 3 different tents. It's a big, huge one. And then there's 2 small, that's a family.
I know in Columbus, I know Sergeant Brown and some of the officers a few months back had tried to make contact to try to get them, you know, housing or offer services, even jobs and whatnot. And I know some people might have taken them up on that. I have seen that there's been a few extra tents when I drove past. I'll follow up with them in the next meeting.
Outstanding. Yeah, well, okay, we can either refer to the Alderman as, Council Ruder said, Council Winter says, or, we can write it up and give it to them. To your particular question, I just wanted to comment regarding CPD in schools. I too have twofolds. Number one, the optics of an officer armed can be a deterrent, a distraction, or can be perceived as a threat. Let me tell you why I say that. There's one young man that had a traumatic, he's going through a traumatic childhood that's gun related. So that was a trigger for him. But if the officer doesn't necessarily know that, he doesn't necessarily have to be exposed. It could have been like, I noticed when they go, when they're off duty, they have the nice little jerseys on, things of that nature. So there's a way to deal with it if we understand how to meet the need. Speaking of meet the need, it's a great thing to have an officer present because that resource is one that could basically be a deterrent for someone that may have the wrong things in mind. But I'm not a part of the local school council. My baby is 35, so therefore it's up to the parents to talk about what they want their child exposed to in that learning environment so that we can make sure that we're meeting the need. Now, from a proactive standpoint of that, I know that we're short police officers, so there's a bunch of people that feel as though they prefer to have them back in the district with their commanders and their sergeants and their captains doing the police work and finding a different mode of how can I call it, interference or mode of assistance with something that, so it's a great conversation that needs to be had, but we need to definitely look at both parts of it. And, you know, when you call 911 network and you're not getting an immediate response, maybe if we had that particular police officer in the squad car, if they have them available to them in district, then maybe they would, thank you for listening. Any other questions? Just for the people that just entered, we are actually, you're in the middle of public comment. We're asking if you have any concerns that you want to bring to the table to basically so we can have it addressed. That's what we're talking about now. We got about maybe 2 or 3 more minutes.
Could be regarding anything?
Yes, ma'am. Anything that's public safety.
Yes, first public safety, I just want to raise concern of our babies in this fentanyl crisis. And I'm wondering what plans is the community and the officers coming up with to stop this. I heard that there are a few incidents in some of the schools in the 15th district. And do we have a lane on where they're purchasing the fentanyl at? And what can we do to uplift the children so that they will not have to resort to wanting to take fentanyl?
Okay. Are we talking about exposure or use?
Everything, exposure, the use, like what's driving this and who's selling it.
Okay. Good question.
Fentanyl awareness is in May.
And, the task
Can you
force.
speak up just a little?
Sure. Fentanyl awareness is in the month of May, so the task force, we're looking at how we can raise more awareness about fentanyl. It does fall under our umbrella of, informing the public about drug usage and, preventing overdoses and fentanyl deaths. So yes, we are looking at it, but definitely a community, collective energy would be helpful.
What are the police think?
We have, we have officers that have, what's his Narcan? Yeah, we have officers that have Narcan on them. So if we do arrive on scene where we think that someone is having an overdose, we've had officers in the district that have saved someone's life, so that by the time EMS is there, this person's already kind of come to, and so we do have officers that the entire district has Narcan with them, are trained. As far as the, drug sales, we have different areas that we try and zero in on. I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen a fentanyl arrest though. So that's a little harder to, most of the sales that we or arrests that we make are for, large sales of marijuana is a big thing. And a lot of the gun-related crimes with, that go along with the drug spots, things like that. So as far as fentanyl, it's definitely out there. A lot of times it's being mixed with heroin. And that's part of the problem is that they're mixing this up and they can't really gauge how strong this fentanyl is, which is why, some of them may take a hit of heroin they bought it last week. Now this next batch is stronger and is wiping them out. So that's the scariest thing when it comes to fentanyl because they still don't know how much they're putting in when they're mixing it in and things like that. So it's definitely a very, very dangerous substance. Even to the touch, it's very dangerous. So that's, as far as messages out to the kids is, I don't know what to tell you, but stay away with it as best you can. It's just, it really is.
All types of drugs.
Yeah.
Not just because they're all kind of mixing with it, even marijuana at some point.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So it's not just heroin, so that's something maybe teacher,
But if anyone does have any information on specific spots that they are selling this, or that we can get our tag teams, or even further, we can get narcotics involved. And they'll do like a deep dive into the spots to see if we can see where this is coming from, who's supplying it, all that kind of thing. So that's where we need information from the community, because it's those, like I said, those spots are hard to come by for us, where I couldn't just tell you that at this corner they're selling fentanyl, you know what I mean? So.
Thank you, and I was just about to ask, was anybody from Roots to Wings in the house, and I thought you were Roots to Wings, I'm sorry, I thought you wanted to get young people back there, but go ahead, Aisha, because I know you all have been addressing that.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the very same thing, because, Austin by itself has seen such a rise in, non-fatal fentanyl related overdoses, coming through West Suburban, and their Dr. Rucci reached out because they don't have a structure for youth that come through like that, and they're seeing numbers pretty much daily of kids coming in with these overdoses, and some of them are related to sex trafficking. So we had a conversation. We were already in the process of holding community conversations around it because we've already lost five. That's five that we know of personally, that they're gone. So one is too many. We can't stop it by going to drug spots because it's so many. Like when I say it's all over the city, it's all over the city. So the focus should be on the education part, because most of the parents whose kids died didn't know their kids was using pills. So they heavy on the Percocets and the Xanax. So it's really, and half the parents didn't even know what I was talking about when I mentioned those two names. So they had no clue that their kids were even using them. So the last conversation we had, I did host it at Austin Coming Together. We call it Dying for Attention. It's a way for us to talk to the adults, because the kids know what's happening. It's the adults that don't know what's happening. So we have to educate the community. One, make them aware. Two, educate them on not just like the language or how to spot it. People have come out and done Narcan trainings, but it has to go a little deeper than that. We have to figure out the why. And most of these kids started using this during the pandemic. So we actually late to the game. So right now we are doing Push and Peace, which is our schools tour. So we actually take these conversations to the school. Right now, we only taking 6 schools, and so far, 3 of the schools have already snatched up dates because we did it last year around gun violence, and the amount of kids we were seeing from public schools be shot. So a lot of the schools were already jumping onto it. So it's the conversation, we willing to take the conversation anywhere. We do have Rush, Lurie, West Suburban, CDPH, Prevention Partnership, and just recently, PCC Wellness asked to join us as well. So they're not speaking. The young people are speaking. The conversations that they hear are a young man that's currently selling, a young man that's currently addicted, and a young man that just lost his best friend. So they are not mentioned, but they wrote letters that they wanted us to read to the young people, and one made a voice note that he wanted us to allow the kids to hear. So it's better for them to be the ones leading the conversation, and then afterwards they get an opportunity to go to those resources and get what they need, or drop their information in a box if they don't want to talk to anybody right then and there, but they want the connection. So we are open to bringing that conversation to whomever. And if you guys have parent groups, or you know of parents, or you just want to organize a conversation and we bring it to them, let's do it, because right now the kids know all the tricks of the trade. We did have some pills tested. The city tested some pills for us. It was fentanyl and 3 cleaning substances. So they're not even real pills. So all of the kids that died, all died from organ failure. So we have to educate the community. Like, stopping it, that's gonna take some time. And still, that's a long game. So that's a lot of work, but we do have the power to educate the people and at least bring people up to speed as to what's going on. But the West Side is seeing it real bad right now, especially with our kids 24 and under.
Very good. We're going to move on now to agenda item 3, which is the approval of minutes from our last meeting, which was February 8th.
Okay, our February 8th meeting, public comment section, of course, I'm sorry. The quorum was all 3 present. Public comment section rendered 2 questions. Have you seen any improvement in police-community relationships since becoming a member? And that was answered. We've seen that the opportunity is definitely grown. When ShotSpotter picks up gunshots, it should be, are all cameras in the area, can they start recording? That was a very good question. It was filtered up to the, as a matter of fact, I believe, it was filtered up to CPD. All right, and the minutes for also January 13, 2024 were approved. It was motioned by Councilor Ludus and second by Councilor Winters. The District Council updates were as follows. Consent decree public hearing was held on February 13th. The ACLU will be hosting an educational session on how to protest at the Becoming Democratic Committee organization. And the fun fact for Black History Month, in 1981, the first Black police officer was appointed. In 1918, the first Black woman police officer was appointed. Review of the accountability improvement methods was convened. This is an initiative that Council Winters is developing. This is a non-punitive approach of restoring faith and trust in the police districts. These are the 3 top picks from you, the community. Street beat cops, community relations, and Mindful Mondays. The discussion was as follows. Commander Morse provided crime statistics for the 15th district. He basically stated that homicides were down 33%, shootings were down 50%, shooting victims down 50%, burglaries down 27%, vehicles down 28%, down 28%. Robberies were up, and Commander Morris also gave his opinion about ShotSpotter. Commander feels like ShotSpotter helped save lives. It showed the areas that the shots were detected from and can lead to officers to that areas if no one calls in. The West Side Opioid Task Force demonstrated a drug overdose on how to administer Narcan, and they also left some with everyone in the room. So I suggest you raise your hand, ma'am. See that young lady, if that's something that you would like to acquire. Black men ages 45 to 65 are the most likely to be affected by opioid. The task force canvassed the areas where opioid is being sold, and they passed out Narcan. Fentanyl is in almost every street drug sold today. Sergeant Brown received the above and beyond award from 15th District. Sergeant Brown leads the 15th District. Cap's office, he is a 15-year veteran of CPD. He continues the long tradition of community-focused strategies of the district, and he believes that the community empowerment is critical to public safety outcomes. Diana Graham received the Legacy Award for community service for over 50 years plus. She's one of the founding members of the 100 Blocks, 100 Churches Initiative. And those are the minutes. May I have a motion?
A motion to move the minutes from February 8th, to accept the minutes from February 8th.
Second.
It has been motioned by Councilor Rudis and seconded by Councilor Winters that the minutes be read without any corrections. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Done deal. All right, at this particular time, I'm done. I'm going to lateral this chair position.
You know what, we can start. So we are going to go into district council member updates. Each of us will describe our roles and the work that we've been doing and our individuality. And we can start with you. Go ahead and start with the chair.
Outstanding. Well, you know what? Again, I'm currently the your chair for 15th District Councils. And I went to the faith-based meeting on Tuesday, and it gave a lot of information regarding the youth. And what I want to do is use my time to tell you about job opportunities. So that being stated, 1 second, I just text myself. The Chicago Board of Elections is looking for high schoolers from 17 and up to be judges on that particular day. I believe you guys are out of school. That's a $250 or $275. What is it, Ms. Williams, for the judge? How much? $275. Okay, $275. It's either $250 or $275. Or $25 one way or the other. There you go. You're in the ballpark. I would prefer to undersell and over-deliver, so you make it get a $25 rate. So that being stated, the WIC store on Chicago Avenue and LeClaire is hiring young people off the street. I'll let her tell you what she's paying you an hour, and I'll tell you about the mattress and then the room. And I suggest you come with an open mind and a willingness to work. I know that sometimes we are entitled and privileged, and we feel like we can just open our mouth and say, Mom and Daddy, I need, without actually working for it. Those days are over. We want to teach you how to know your worth and get compensated for it. So that being stated, as your chair, the administrative part is basically what I do with Brother Isaiah Brooks has made my job very easy. So he comes in and he takes over a lot of different things that normally is my fiduciary duty. And that being stated, I'm here to serve you. When you earn my money, tell me what you need.
I'm DeAndre Rudis. I'm a community engagement specialist. My role is to make sure that the people in the community are connecting with the officers and vice versa. One of the things that we do is make sure that we have a monthly newsletter, which is a summation of all of our meetings. So this is the last one. It was Black History Month, hence the colors. And so a lot of information that's contained in here comes directly from our meetings. If you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, please do so here. I have a little QR code right there. It's a contact section. Section that is also used if you didn't want to use the public comment section to voice any concerns. You can voice those concerns there. It comes directly to me, and I can keep you anonymous in that way. The other thing is a public safety survey. We wanted to keep track of how things were, the perception from when we started to when we end. We are fastly coming up on about a year serving in this role, so we want to keep track of how the development of the district councils are. Additionally, I always record our meetings. There was one that I did not get a chance to, and hopefully my battery lasts long enough to get all of this one, but if it does not, I'm sorry. But what is captured will be available here. I always put on our newsletter, and then if you type in the little QR code down there, well, not the QR code, the bit.ly down there, you'll be able to access the video. The other thing is I make sure that we are doing these Know Your Rights sessions. The other one we had is Know Your Rights when driving, what we call it driving while black and brown. Pretextual stops are up in our community. That was in November. And so we brought information from ACLU as well as First Defense Legal Aid to tell you so you can know what your rights are when you're stopped. This one here is so that you can know your rights when protesting. Once again, the ACLU will help put this on. The other thing is we have Illinois Network for Pretrial Justice coming out, and they're gonna talk about the Pretrial Fairness Act and how that has fared for the community. In both of those sessions, please come out to learn a lot of information. There is now, since we had that event in November, there have been 3 instances where young folks were accosted by Chicago police for driving while black or brown. So come out if you can. This will be March 16th. So that is this upcoming Saturday from 11 to 2. It'll be at 5730 West Division, which is Northwest Austin Council. And it's a joint effort between the 15th and 25th district because that's kind of right on the borderline. Additionally, this just came up today. This wasn't in my control, but if you would like to meet your commander of the 15th and or 25th district, as well as the deputy chief of Area 4, there is also going to be a meeting at the Northwest Austin Council. Again, the address 5730 West Division, March 28th from 6 to 8. And you can come meet each of those individuals. I have been asked to ask the district councils of both the 15th and 25th district to be able to come out. 25 has a meeting that day, so we're gonna try to figure out what that looks like, but essentially it will be a panel discussion so that you can get to know the district council in both 15 and 25, as well as the commanders of 15, 25, and the deputy chief of Area 4. Last, if none of these other methods work for you in terms of connecting with us, we have what we are trying to get started, listening tours. So we would like folks from the block to, block clubs, I heard we're represented. Bring us out, we could do, nice little peace circles, if you will. I've done some with Brother Al before on his block. We can do that so it could be more of an intimate setting, so we could build a relationship between community police. But if you don't want to share any information in our meeting, that's also an opportunity to, again, to kind of be anonymous, but share what's going on in a particular community area. That'd be all for me. Thank you.
Karen, I found these other 3 last year.
The other 3?
Yep, the opportunities, the job opportunities.
I have my board back there, but you could share them.
You have the ones that I sent them?
DeAndre, can you pass that QR code?
Which ones was it?
Newsletter.
While we're talking, let me just say. So that being stated, One Summer Chicago is hiring ages 15 to 24. That's One Summer Chicago. SLAM, Saving Lives Through Athletic Ministry, Will Wagner, he has a position, he has a situation, or should I say, a service on Mondays from 6 to 8 over by the hand on Laramie, as well as, Laramie and Kinsey. And of course, Sister Aisha Oliver is in the back dying for attention. There's a lot of things for the young people to get involved with. And also, we know Sister Constance Melton, she's taking young people to camp. You're gonna leave home, we're gonna take you in the woods and beat you. You're gonna leave home, we're gonna take you out in the forest reserve, and you're going to actually stay a couple nights and learn how to socialize without this thing right here, and learn some things that I think will be very, very beneficial. So Constance Melton, doctor, can you raise your hand, please? There you go, she may have some more information. That's the sister of Sister Constance Melton, and she can tell you more about that camp. Thank you, I'm done.
Thank you.
So I am Raywa Karen Winters, and I am the nominator for the district council. So we have 22 police districts. Each of the districts have 3 representatives, chairperson, community organizer, nominator. The nominators just recently had this wonderful task of ciphering through over 100 applications for the next community commission, because right now it's the interim commission, and we had to narrow that 100 down to 34, and then we had to narrow that 34 down to 14, but we ended up with 15. So you can imagine what it's like trying to get 22 people to decide on this amount of people, but we did it. And so now those 15 people will be going to the mayor, and the mayor will appoint 7 of the people that we nominated and put forward. So it'll be 2 West Siders, 2 South Siders, 2 North Siders, and 1 what we call like a citywide kind of person. They can come from any region to kind of help fill a specialized area, whether it's youth, lawyer, or community organizer. And so this is the only thing I wanna share for my comment, period, cause I had a whole list up here, but I just wanna share that because I wanna get to our youth presenter today and our special guest speaker today, because this session was about our young people, and I am so glad that you all made it out with us. I'm so very, very grateful for that. On that note though, the West Side really had some awesome candidates, period. But I would just like to say that Mr. DeAndre Brutus, is one of the nominees who will be going forward to the mayor to represent the West Side, as well as, Ramel Terry, who is currently the vice chair for the interim commission now, and we have an African-American female attorney by the name of Kelly Presley, who I was very excited about. And especially, maybe I couldn't get to her, I'm just saying. And I wanted to just make a special acknowledgement this evening because we did have a youth from the west side of the city of Chicago. We had about 9 youth applicants, and they were all dynamic. We had we wanted to put all of the youth forward to the mayor, but unfortunately, it couldn't work like that. But we did have one, and I think you're the only one from the west side. I think the others are all north and south side. But she is here with us tonight, and I want to introduce her to you. Ms. Nakaya Matthews will be representing you guys. After the mayor picks, they go to city council, and then, hopefully, city council does their due diligence, and so then we will have our, we call it permanent commission, but it's really 2 years, 4 years terms, that they will serve. I don't wanna run through the whole list of what they do, you all go to the CCPS website. But the other thing I wanna say, mention to young people, is I do have back there on that board, like, a whole lot of listings for job opportunities, so unfortunately, we don't really have money in our budget, so I couldn't make copies, but if you could take a picture and scan the Q&R codes, and then for everyone, before you all leave, we have some posters up here on the wall. If you all can write one of those posters, like one says, what do you love about Austin? One says, if you could change one thing about Austin, what would it be? And one says, like, what is some negative things that you heard about Austin, but there's some positive things that truly people want to say about us, but they just don't know how. So that is and last, we do have gift cards. We're gonna get gift cards tonight. I do have a $2.90 hoodie in my car. I gotta run out and get it, but I'm trying to figure out questions. I'm gonna put together it's Women's History Month. So I'm gonna put together some Women's History Month questions for our young people, and if you get them right, we have a couple of gift cards here. So, yeah, we'll come back to that before we wrap up tonight.
Before we move on, I'm just gonna ask for a little housekeeping. If you go in to get something to eat, please help yourself, but do me a favor, just put the top on for etiquette purposes, so the next person can have a nice warm slice as well. Thank you. We're done.
All right, so with that, we're going to move right into our speaker for tonight, Al Stitt.
Aisha, is it a young person here from Root to Fruit?
It's 2 of them.
Okay. Yeah. So we want them to come and present for us first, and then we're gonna bring Al up.
Introduce yourselves and talk to us.
Okay, my name is Michael. My name is Martin. We as co-founders of ASAP, aka Austin City Action Plan. It basically started where we've been doing this since like 3rd grade. When we first went into school, it started like 3rd grade, and then we was going to Project Austin. We just built like families, like 15 of us. Unfortunately, one of them died, and one of our brothers had got killed, so it's like 14 of us now, but basically, it started like, this little boy had got killed up in like our neighborhood, like 3 years old, and like, his boo had asked him to come to the crib and just eat and just talk. And she asked us like 3 questions. One of them was basically about the boy, and like the whole time we was talking, we was just having the whole conversation with each other. And she was just in the back, like writing everything down, and then eventually, she just came to us with a whole plan about everything we was writing down. And we really just went from that, and since then, we just been basically trying to bring back the community feeling to like, into generations, like all people, so like, cause like, you know, the violence basically slow everything down, so a lot of people scared to come outside, cause you gotta look over your shoulder too much, you feel? So, we basically trying to make people not have to look over their shoulder and know that like, you can interact with people that's older than you, younger than you, it's no matter what age you is, you feel? And like, since then, we did like peace tours in schools. We did events outside. We've been doing it since 2020, since the pandemic. We working on our 4th year now. It's a fun year. It's really have some fun with it. But yeah, that's really basically the gist of it. You got anything to say?
I'm not a talker, I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, like what Michael said, we did start this from the ground up. Like, I've been in school ever since I was like 8 years old, so like, I'm like 22 right now. So like, just imagine the bond, like she really like took like that mother bell spot, basically. Like she took us under her wing and like made sure everything was cool. But like, also what Mike was saying, like with the kids, basically like, that day when that happened, we basically all came to the crib, basically like, she had like, basically wrote down everything like you said, but like she had put it like from step by step by step by step, basically like wrote it out for us, but like she was listening to like what we were saying. So therefore, like after all that, we had created this little safety plan around Austin Town, like this. Basically like our first event, was really great. We had like elderly in the home right across the street from Austin. They came out, kicked it with us. We basically like, a lot of people basically came out to the community to show support, basically, and we want to see that more. So,
and we also like our plan, like we trying to make it like every community is like, it's a one-man relationship, but like a community relationship, like vibes. Like one of our plans, one of our rules is basically like no police run. No police is allowed, like, up in our events, like, don't know police, like, if you don't show up without your uniform, so we know you coming with genuine bad. Because most people, they see you in your uniform, then they'll be scared, things like that. People start getting nervous and they uncomfortable. So, like you said, also, like, you'll come with your uniforms and let you come, like, to be there to kick it with us. So, like, now people know, now you don't even know that you're talking to the officers, but now you just built the bond with the officers. Now, so now you see them in uniform. Now y'all got that bond. So like that's basically what we're doing. Also we're trying to teach it to like other kids. So like now we're trying to like teach kids how to become youth consultants. Like how to basically like create their own position. How to like do this plan and just run it like by yourself without like real dose. I know that they got a voice that like you can always be heard. Like this youth is talented, but it's like if you ain't got nobody showing you how to use your talent the right way, then you go tend to use it the wrong way. So it's like, we gotta like show them like how to like, we gotta guide them, but also bridge the gap between the older people and younger people. Because some older people is too stuck up to listen to a younger person, some younger people is too stuck up to listen to an older person.
Yeah, I got a question. Since y'all like more around my age, my question is, how do you think y'all organization can contribute to like the gang violence in the community? Like, how do you think y'all can stop it?
I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I don't necessarily think that like we can stop it, but like to a point like you kind of like slow it down, but like stopping it would be like impossible. Like people like once somebody's brother get killed, like you know like people they want revenge, like it ain't none of that they want. So it's like you can't take a person feeling away, but like it's also like it's mental too. Like a lot of people got mental problems, so like you need mental health. Like so like we need more like mental health places too, because like a lot of kids go through a lot of mental stuff, but you ain't finna talk to nobody about it. Cause you don't know them. So it's like a lot of stuff you deal with by yourself. So if you ain't got nobody to talk to, 9 out of 10, if you think it's something negative, you just might do it. You feel me? Because you already got a lot of stuff built in your head. So like, we just have to like, just get to people like mentally, like, just really get to some help in the head.
I have one more question though. So do you feel like though, since like us being like the older people though, and us experience what they don't experience, do you feel like we can talk to them though, us being like the same, you know, from the same neighborhood, or at least, you know, getting the same experience where we all, most all black, but they've been through the same level of experience with us growing up. So don't you feel like us being older, we can at least stop the people like 15, 13, you know, 16 years old, stepping into that lifestyle that we used to step into?
Yeah,
Like,
we gotta
like,
catch
you know,
them.
like, at least you feel like go around, see someone, you know, hooping on the block or something like that, talk to them, let them know, hey man, we know that they pushing this game like that, we ain't gotta push that, we better than that, you feel me? And actually tell them like, hey man, let's do something else, you feel me? Let's go skate, let me get you better, let me get to know you, feel me? And build a community around, like actually build like you say, a bond between us, cause like we all the same people, you feel me? That's why I feel like we should do like more like that too.
So what we do, we call it break bread. So basically like, she'll just like invite us to the crib and just cook for us, or like order some food for us, and basically like, the whole conversation, like she not talking to us. It's us talking about like topics that she might be with us, you feel me? So like, that's basically how everything like just came up off us. Like, so it's like the whole logistics of the plan is off us. We run the whole thing, we run the whole show. So like when we go to meetings, it's us talking, it's us doing this, and she just sitting in the back. Yeah. That's even if she come. If she don't, then we still gotta go and handle what we gotta handle. But like, to get to that point, like, yeah, you can, but you gotta catch them young, because like, a lot of like, this generation seeing stuff very early, like, 'cause you got the internet, so a lot of people put a lot of stuff on the internet, so like, you seeing stuff quick, so like, somebody get killed, if a video, somebody like that's 3 or like 4 or something can see that video, because they just scroll down TikTok or anything like that. So like, you gotta catch them young, like back then, like we used to like be outside, ain't necessarily to always be on the game or anything like that, always be outside just having fun. A lot of kids ain't got that, they too stuck to the phone, the tablet, things like that, so like, you gotta try to get them about the tablets, the phones, and just get them to understand the nature, and just that you safe if you step outside. You ain't even gotta worry about it too much like that. Like, you ain't gotta always watch over your shoulder.
This is a question for any young black male in the room right now, but what does good help or support for mental health look like for y'all?
I mean, that's a good question.
I think like a supportive mental health for black people is like, I think like the big thing with black people is like a misidentity. I think like we're really missing our identity, and like I think that's like the biggest cause. We don't really know who we is. We walking around, you know, really blind. You know, walking blind towards each other. You know, that's why we look at each other with so much hate. And I think if we made more programs about history programs, you know, about us learning about our legacy and who we was, that would change us more about like, you know, how we think about ourselves, how we look at each other. That's why I think it's a lot of things set up for us to look at each other with hate and look at each other as who we are, who we should be, and like we said, we all somebody, right? That's what I'm saying. Something like that.
To piggyback off of like, it's really like, it's deeper than that, though. It's like, we got a lot of stuff just against us, just like so when we born. So when we born as black men, like, it's already a lot of stuff, just pressure upon you as a kid. Like even to go back to like, y'all was talking about like drugs, like, you get drugged when you was a kid, like, all these like medicines, they not really medicine. A lot of them got drugs in them, but like, eventually when you get older, you start getting to the drugs now, and all these drugs in it, so it's like, it's really just deeper. Like, you gotta get into like the medicine part of it, like mental part of it, like the system part of it, like the whole system is basically for you to feel. Like school, like you go to school, they not really teaching you too much stuff about what you need to know in the world. Like too much like a CPS school, they not really teaching you about your history, like your credit, your like things that you need in the world to survive. They teaching you about everything that you don't need. So like now, when you leave this school, main thing you think about is either trying to go work a job or try to do something to survive. So 9 times out of 10, you either go try to find a job or do something to make some money. 9 times out of 10, you either locked up, dead, or struggling. So it's like it's way deeper than like just us. Like it's just like we came into a world and we got everything going up that we gotta try to fight off, but at the same time, you seeing a lot of stuff, when you in a position of struggle, you trying to find a way, like you can do anything possible. So it's like kids out here surviving. People out here like kids at a young age taking care of their mamas. So it's like you got mamas being best friends to their kids. So like it's just a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff start at home. If you're gonna be honest though, like parents gotta start being parents and stop being best friend to their kid. Like, you shouldn't be drinking or smoking with your kid or doing anything like that. Like y'all should be, you should be the parents, like, not the best friend.
I just wanted to know how old you were.
Oh, I'm 21.
Thank you. Very much perspective.
Yeah, so that's really just it.
Do you think Austin needs a quality of life plan that revolves around everything you just said, with the family and the system?
Yeah, because we ain't got a lot of resources. Like a grocery store, you gotta go Old Park or 20 minutes away. Like, so like, we ain't got a lot of resources. So 9 times out of 10, like, we just need more resources in our community. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why people struggle. We ain't got a lot of resources. You gotta find the resources.
I have a quick question. My question was, do you believe in restorative justice? Are you familiar with that?
Restorative justice, yes.
Do you think the term when you were saying about breaking the bread, would that be something that we can span out in more of the community and feel more, I guess, assimilated in the community? Because I really feel like if we did talk to one another and did, flourish in the community, instead of just considering that person as an op because I have differences, maybe we could come together and talk about our feelings amongst other people that we think are different. So I really think it's just us thinking that we're so individualized when it's actually unity and power. So
Nice.
Yeah. It's just like this talk we just hear him. Like, you don't know him. But at the same time, like just the conversation, like he had a thought, we listen. It's just about people being able to listen to each other.
Do you think people at our age, like I'm young too, 22, 20, y'all age groups around that. Do you think that people our age would be interested in actually talking to one another about our feelings?
To be honest with you, they just might, but at the same time, like in this age, like we like you gotta be like we gotta trust you to like a lot of people like this like they don't trust people like. In order for her to have this conversation with us, like she had to start using third grade and build that trust with us over the time. So like, without that like bond and trust or knowing that like I can have this talk with this person, they not gonna judge me. That's where then they can have that talk.
How do we build trust in the community if we don't talk to one another? It's like, yeah, we do have these stipulations or this oppression and whatnot, but at the same time, that shouldn't stop you from talking to your neighbor that lives right next to you.
It's about misjudging. And then a lot of people got pride too. So you can't talk to a person that got pride. They ain't trying to listen. They going off whatever their pride say. So
Can it start with just a simple, hey, what's up? How you doing? Instead of us staring at each other.
Like we not from the same community.
yeah, I didn't cover an interaction like that where I just walk past the person or like, okay, I work for Amazon, so I meet a lot of people. So depending on the race, a lot of people speak to me, a lot of people don't. But like when a lot of people do speak to me, like it'd be like cool conversation. Like I met a real estate, a real estate person. I met a lot of people, so it'd be like it's just about the person like not be misjudging me because I'm black. So like or because my skin color or how I look or like just because I might look like I'm a gangster or that case might be, I might be intelligent.
That's
You
right.
would never know that.
That's right.
If you don't,
That's
if you don't talk to me.
Yep. That happens all the time.
You are intelligent.
We'll take one more question. Anybody else got a?
I was gonna say, like, what is your take? Like, I ask students this whenever I'm in the schools, like, they take on trauma, and most of the students say it's like negative. But I also think like sometimes we do take trauma in a negative perspective, and like for me in my situation, it was negative at first, but I turned it into a positive. Like I ended up writing a book because of what I went through, and now I can go and like talk to kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think we need to think of trauma more in a positive sense, or is it something that's just always gonna be looked at as a negative?
Depends on the person. And like also like if you going through trauma, you ain't got support, then 9 times out of 10 you might take it the negative way. But like if you have like some support, and you know that you got a person that you can go talk to about your trauma, and they give you like good advice about your trauma and how to improve yourself, and they not just blowing you off and giving you bullcrap answers, then that's when the trauma become positive. So now you know how to deal with it. So now you know how to when you get to your next trauma situation, now you know how to process past it. Now you know how to get past without, having to deal with too much in your mind. And a lot of people that get out of their head too with trauma. A lot of stuff that you can't deal with, just don't like worry about it. You can't do nothing about it. So not worry about it.
Awesome. Could we give it up for the fellas?
Women's History Month, and I just wanted to give a special shout out and acknowledgement to my sister, Aisha Oliver.
The real Miss Pooh.
And I'm emotional. It's like I wanna tear up because we need to build incubators around our young people. And I know that is what she is doing, but we need more. We need, matter of fact, we need to support her. I keep trying to make some time to connect with her, to support the work that she's doing. And I have to make some time to do that, as we all should. When they say it takes a village, that is really true. That is absolutely the God's honest truth. And so we have to remember that. And then, so I do have, like I said, it is Women's History Month, so we do have a couple of gift cards. So these questions are all for the young people, and you can't go on your phone. I'll come back with another question if you don't get this one.
Right, what's the
We say 0 to 24. We say 0 to 24 is a young person for us. What we do. 0 to 24. Who was the first woman? You gotta raise your hand too. Please don't yell hands out. But who was the first woman to run for president of the United States of? Too young. I'm too young. I'm young. Okay, 24. Oh, you ready? 24.
They all with you. Right there at the cusp.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for the compliment. Yes.
Chisholm.
Most people say Hillary Clinton. I'm like, Hillary Clinton was not the first woman to run. So you pick one of these gift cards. So this is a memento.
All right, so Brother Al Smith has been doing a lot of work in the community for quite some time. If you all have ever been a part of the BAM, Becoming a Man program, which was here in Austin, you probably ran across it at some point. And so he's actually starting a new nonprofit, Your Edition, which is focused on trauma, actually, and trying to educate the youth in some ways in which they can actually deal with it in a different way. And so our organizational highlight for today is Al Stinson and Your Edition.
I'd like to get right into it, man. Hold this penny. Keep that penny. That's a penny for you. Hold that penny. Hold that close. Where my young people at?
I'm young. Don't be looking at me like that.
2400.
Like a turtle.
Hey, actually,
oh, brother,
hey,
come on, man.
My nephew, they already gave me a perfect segue to my presentation. I'm just gonna get a little bit more deep on it.
No. Yeah, no, not you.
Oh, I missed somebody. I missed some youth down there. Hold up, let me get around. 24. Okay. Real quick, I don't like to use the word trauma because trauma triggers people, so I use the word trigger. So that's one thing I'm replacing that because we all get triggered every day. But I'm gonna read something because from the age of 14 to 24, the number one death is through gun violence. June would be, gun violence month. I'm a big advocate of that, cause I come from that. Young people, I got something that's called, This Is Your Brain, No Guns. Unfortunately, this generation is growing up on guns. I grew up in the 80s. Our generation was This Is Your Brain, No Drugs. You had the aid commercial and all this stuff here. Unfortunately, it's the same thing now. In the 80s, it was crack cocaine everywhere in our community. Everybody was privy to it. You speed it up 35 years later, everybody got guns in our neighborhood, and they got big guns. And so, I'm gonna talk about the program and a lot of stuff that the young men were speaking on. Dr. Frances Cress Weston, she wrote this maybe almost 40 years ago. So if y'all don't know who she is, look her up. She said, we are the only people on this entire planet who have been taught to sing and praise our demeanor. I'm a bitch, I'm a hoe, I'm a gangster, I'm a thug, I'm a dog. If you could train people to demean and degrade themselves, they can oppress themselves forever. You can even program them to kill themselves, they won't even understand what's happening. That's what's going on right now. So we're gonna do two things. Before y'all get up out of here, I'm gonna make y'all aware of your unconscious mind and y'all conscious mind. When I was in the gang coming up, everything we did made sense because we was unconscious. I don't call it sensitive violence, I call it unconscious violence. Because it makes sense for them to do, or they wouldn't do it. We don't do nothing that don't make sense for us to do right at the moment. Everybody here can raise their hand and say, damn, did I really do that? But it made sense for you to do it at that time. So we all live in our conscious mind. Unfortunately, our people get programmed in our unconscious mind. And it's a lot of excuse my language, but I got to speak how I speak. It's a lot of shit out here that makes us, by design, makes us unconscious. You get programmed to be unconscious. And so that's the game to keep us in this genocide thing. So when we look at our students, and they say, oh man, they wilding out, no, they actually making the correct biological response to their triggers. So if you shake that pot right now, what's gonna happen? If you shake a pot, what's gonna happen? It's gonna explode. That's our trigger in our body, because trauma stays in our body. Acid, drugs, all that's in our body. So if you shake us, we're gonna pop the hell out. That's a natural response, scientifically. So that our young people ain't doing nothing wrong. We just gotta bring them awareness on how they can regulate themselves, where they can become like water. You shake water, water gonna come back to form. But that's on us as adults to not judge them through our unconscious biases and understand that this is how they survive the environment out there. Because the reality is we all gonna get shaken here. Yes. Our community is full of toxic. Yes, it is. And we consume that every day. This is what makes us unconscious. Our young people music right now is drill music. That's drilling them in their subconscious mind. The minute they pop up, I'ma pop your ass. Because it's because they download. So I just want y'all to keep that in front of y'all forehead. I'm gonna pass this picture around. I'm gonna need somebody to write the words down. One word, disclaimer. I don't know this young man, but I know somebody that knows this young man, and I only use this for awareness purposes and training purposes. This is not to make this young man a belittle this young man. First word. Can somebody write that down?
What was it?
Uninformed.
Misguided.
Generational trauma.
Generational trauma.
Slow down, let her write something down.
He's speeding.
What was the last one?
Generational trauma.
Thank you, go.
Say it.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
No parents.
No parents.
I don't even know how to describe that. I'm not gonna
What you say now?
She don't know.
No word.
No word.
Unnecessary. Misleading.
Okay.
Hey,
Wait,
What you say now? What you say?
Crazy.
Wait, I said let's come back here before we take it all the way around. I want everybody to look at it.
one word. God. Influence.
mistaken.
I'll say expressive.
Expressive.
Positive.
I'll say no.
No.
Insane.
Insane. Insane.
Inside.
Absent.
Absent. Lost.
Concerning. Compound word, low vibration.
Low vibration.
Damn.
And who's that back there?
Go ahead, what you say, honey? Mistake, what you say?
I'll say truth.
True.
Oh, wow.
And he said, hurt.
Influence.
Influence.
Pain.
Pain. Mysterious. Mysterious. Misguided.
Straight.
Strange.
Straight.
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 Straight. Straight away. Lost.
Two things. Y'all just revealed y'all unconscious bias. If y'all don't know what that is, look that up. And then two, y'all know that man. Why couldn't y'all take Mr. Stenson, lawyer, advocate? Because I was that young man. Face tattoos just weren't popular back in the day. I had a big old tattoo on my arm against the black soul before I got it covered up with Africa. Because I didn't know where I was. Also, that gun represents that young man's father. Most of us got a father. So when we don't have that father, because our father's supposed to be a provider, protector, investor. What the hell do you think that gun do for us? Provide, protect, invest for us. So if you had a powerful father in your neighborhood and something went wrong, first thing you say, I'm going to get my father. These young people say, I'm going to get my father. My own son told me I couldn't protect him no more. Guess who's sitting in jail on a shooting charge? My son. So we have to bring a different level of gun awareness when we're talking about the guns and why it's so privy here. Because it's part of our womb. The father womb, which so many of us carry as young people. That's why that gun is so God here. The young people can't live without it. It's the program. Their brains is on it. I gave y'all that penny, young people, because when we get triggered, we automatically pull triggers. That penny is the size of the part of your brain that controls all of that. It's this old brain back here. They call it the reptilian brain. The name is the amygdala. This is your fight, flight, freeze, or fawn brain. So the minute something triggered y'all, we either gonna fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So remember, a penny can cost you your life. So think about that. So when I'm teaching about triggers, the first thing I tell young people, and I tell adults too, tap before you snap. Because when you're in that animal brain, guess what part of the brain gets shut off? The front part of your brain. Your thinking brain, your reason, your prefrontal brain. So if you can, practice tapping. That's a psychosomatic type of energy that you can send through your body. Because everybody knows when they're about to go off. We all know when we get to that threshold. So what can y'all do when y'all to become water? So I always tell my young men, what type of man you gonna be? You gonna be a pop guy or you gonna be a water guy? Because the system set up for us to be pop. Because when we pop off, guess what? We get popped off into the penitentiary. We get popped off into a box. Or we get popped off into some pills. And that's popping off. So think about that. This is actually a picture of a brain in the gun. So I created this here. Our number one trauma right now in our community is gun and brain trauma. But you can flip your gun and let your gun be your God, your universe, or your nature. I'm carrying concealed now. 80% of the time I don't even carry it. Because I suffer from post-traumatic syndrome, PTSD. So if something gets shaken, I might just, something don't look right. And I might just shoot somebody because something don't look right. My son told me about maybe 3 years ago, my son has been shot multiple times up in there, over in this area. He said, man, Dad, man, you should start carrying your pistol back. I said, son, I've been out the street 25 years, man. I said, you put me back in the street. So I can't walk around shaking like that. Because all the young men they into, this is ops, is all the young men that's been in my band program. From Frederick Douglass, from here, from Ellen Flagg Young. These are all his ops. And so it hurts me as a man. But we got to do better on re-educating y'all about y'all brain and what this environment has done to us. One of the young guys said we don't know who we are. And that's the truth. We have to unbecome to become who we really are. So you know what I did? I took my African DNA test. I'm Yoruba. My maternal ancestors are Nigerian. I'm not a black soul, I'm not a nigga. I'm a Nigerian. I'm from Europe. That's who I am. So I know who I am. So the streets, can't nobody tell me who I ain't now. So if y'all got $200-300, that's the best investment you can ever make in your life. African ancestry. Don't go to no one but African ancestry. Do the maternal ancestry part. Because the mother is the progenitor of life. And thank y'all, because his mother, it's Women's History Month, which it should be every month. It's no issue after one. The woman was here first. In spite of what religion tells y'all, the woman was here first. So understand that, because all that is tied together. So remember, before y'all snap out, do you want to lose your life because of opinion? Now I'm not saying not to protect yourself. That's your right to protect yourself. That makes sense. But be in your conscious mind in protecting yourself. Because we get put to sleep every day, and that's part of the program. America is a gun country. It's a violent country. So somebody got to be that scapegoat of the violence. We are the scapegoat for so many things in this country. And so what the brother said, what we can do, just start bringing awareness. Because this is going to be what this is. But how can we survive and thrive, which we do? A lot of us, we focus so much on the pain of our triggers. Let's focus on the elevation of our triggers. My triggers got me here today. I got a plethora of adverse childhood experiences. It's an ACE test that we all can take. And I got about 9 of them motherfuckers, excuse my language, I got about 9 out of 10. But out of that, I developed a post-traumatic growth. So my pain can help heal someone. Because that's my superpower. Me and my partner, we do a training called superhero trauma. Every superhero has a trauma. They created their power. Did y'all know that? I just left a venue today, downtown. A black woman, sister, 40 years old. She got a healing space in the water tower that was created out of her depression. I was there with a group of Austin young women from the WILD program here today. We did a working group there. She created this space out of her trauma. So it's treasure that comes out of our pain if we don't let the pain bound us and keep so focused on the resilience and what can come out of that. My trigger led to transformation. There's no transformation without triggers. That's a part of it. Pain is always broken. don't get stuck in the pain. So, young people, if y'all need spaces, reach out to me. I did a whole grieving group with my nephews back there, talking about the 7 stages of grief. And that's something that we all have to be aware because we grieve here all the time. So I tell my young people, I don't say good morning because we wake up to so much morning. I say grand rising. Because we rise every day like the sun. Because we all die when we sleep. So we arise in the morning. I don't say good morning, I say grand rising, King. Because we got an opportunity to rise again. Any questions?
I just want to say that's my uncle.
Hey, and I watched Pooh. We call him Pooh. I watched Pooh raise them since they was babies. They bring tears in my eyes because I know the God will want.
I have a comment. I just want to say that I've been on Brother Al Stenson for some years now. When I was a patrol officer in the 15th district, I was a school resource officer, and I was always amazed at how the young men responded and how they respect Al. And brother, I'm just so proud of you and how far you've come, and just continue to fight the fight. Another thing, please, as he said, invest in yourself and take that DNA test. I took one and I was amazed that a large part of me is from Nigeria as well. And I was just shocked to find out that I'm 30% Italian. I'm like, a 30% Italian where? It's in my DNA. They said it's in my DNA. I said, I don't know not one Italian person. Yeah, but it's just go invest and take that DNA test. It's amazing.
Yeah, we all got some of that European blood.
Young people, if y'all don't want to invest, there's a lady in the community named Crystal Dyer. She does genealogy programs where y'all can go and she'll pay for the ancestry kits. Y'all just go participate and find out about where y'all come from.
Yeah. My question was, what would you go to actually get it done?
You could just go online, look up ancestry. Is it ancestry?
African ancestry.
They will send a kit to you.
Yeah, and you
And you
swap
swap yourself.
Yeah.
But do the African ancestry and do the maternal.
Yes.
You have to don't do the patriarch, do the maternal. Because it's gonna lead you exactly to what tribe you actually come from.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It even breaks it down to the DNA.
DNA,
You can
right.
actually trace people all the way back to Africa, Italy. It said 1% Scandinavian, 1%
Yeah, that
Filipino.
European,
My
yeah.
ancestry is all over the world. And you can, it actually, it breaks it down. Yeah.
I just wanted to reiterate what Al said. I'm his partner with Your Addition, our not-for-profit, and we provide trauma education and awareness to youth 14 to 24 years of age, and we have a radical approach. We teach you about your culture. We teach you how to turn your trauma into trophies. So if you guys are interested, we're certified trauma and resilience life coaches. We would love to help you guys navigate your trauma. So afterwards, if you're interested, you can come up to us and we'll take your information and we'll definitely work with you guys on finding strengths and strategies to work through your trauma.
I had a question. When do you all, I know Your Addition is starting, like when do you launch? Where can people find you at?
So we are having, so as Al said, June is Gun Prevention Month, so we're having a launch party in June. Our target areas are East and West Garfield Park in Austin. Right now, we're looking for a space, but what's the church that the church is located? It's by Douglas, right?
Yeah, right here, right across, I was right over there.
Yeah,
Jose.
so
St. Martin.
Yeah, St. Martin. So we do have access to use that space, so we can do circles in that space, so we can do individuals in that space as well. So we looking to launch our first cohort in July and run it through a full school year. But even before then, if you guys really want to talk and learn what we're about, we are more than happy to connect with you guys and do some sessions. We can even come back here with youth and adults as well.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I just wanted to shout. This really is my uncle. But I wanted him to kind of talk to you guys also about like Moxie Soul and like the spot that he has, because anytime it's something that I don't talk about publicly. Like there was a young man whose mother was pretty much pleading on Facebook for help with her 14-year-old son, and the first person, like when somebody reached out to me like that, and it was like urgent, like this kid was really, he had threatened to take the lives of his mother and his grandmother. So the first person I always call, and I'm gonna always call my uncle. And we went to, what hospital did they have him in?
Garfield?
Garfield, yeah, they took him to Garfield. I had to come up with a quick way for his mom to get him out the house. And so we went and we sat until like we had an opportunity to talk to this kid. And even afterward, Unc followed up with the kid, you know, allowed him and his mom to come to the spot where they do Moxie Soul. Well, it's really for young men. It's really for the men. The space is really for you young guys. But just to credit him with the stuff that he like drops to come and help me support people in the community, things that we can't like talk about publicly, but like helping parents who really struggling with their kids and their backs are up against the wall. And we went to that hospital together and sat with Shorty until we had the opportunity to like really reach him. And then even afterwards when they got him out, that was the first person he went and talked to. And like I got a text from his mom saying, man, I don't know what your uncle said to him, but like he been in the house for 2 days straight right now. So like just thinking about whatever conversation he had with Uncle. So I appreciate him for dropping things when I get those type of calls to show up with me so that we collectively go and help people in the community when they struggling with their kids.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes, she's invited her to come tomorrow.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
I just had a comment. I think as a youth, I'm 23, and I just think it's really encouraging to always hear adults speaking from their perspective on rearranging our idea and our theories on trauma. My friend Felissa and I, when we have talks, we talk a lot about like turning it into positive. She also like says grand rising. She's very into like being spiritually connected to the sense of like you make your own destiny, and the world's always going to have the way that it is. That's always going to be, but we do have so much more control over our minds and how it operates once you learn what's going on. So I think it's really encouraging to hear from your side as an older person, because we don't have those conversations a lot with, you know, adults, even in our own home. We have like the same ideas, but we're talking about it a little differently. And I think it's so important for an older man to be able to connect with younger men too, because even though we're the same age, we may not communicate the same way, you know, like things are still a little different for us in our journeys. So I just think it's encouraging to always hear from older adults, like coming back to those ideas of like their own journeys and how they grew out of it, and that, you know, that can also be the same case for the people who are coming up that are my age.
Thank you, and real quick, before I finish, life is duality.
Yeah.
It's always an obstacle to attraction. It's two of us in our body. It's a higher self, it's a lower self. Some people call it God, some people call it devil. But whatever you serve the most is what you're gonna become. I'm just gonna leave y'all with that.
That's my daughter. That's my
We
first
give it up.
one, y'all.
Okay, thank you, Al.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Definitely be doing some stuff over the summer. Wait, what I do with my questions I wrote down?
Aisha, can you and your two young men come up? We didn't take the pictures before. Thank you.
Now keep them pennies, remember that. Keep them pennies. I got 1,000 pennies in there.
Hey, we got a
We gonna take the picture. Hold the questions. I'm sorry.
Okay, come on over, guys. Come on over.
Ready? Come on up here.
Okay, guys.
Okay, so here's got a question. If we still in with the certificate,
Gift certificate giveaway, silence.
Now, we know that the Underground Railroad was not really railroad. It was Queen Mother Harriet Tubman, getting the slaves to freedom. But ultimately, where did Harriet Tubman take them? To the north.
24.
I need the young people.
Don't worry about it.
What is it?
I got it now. Let me see.
To the north.
You
just said it.
I was specifically, I wanted to say Canada, but she asked me, and now I have to do another question. Okay, so,
We got another one.
we have,
Don't blurt out, people, don't blurt out.
young people 0 to 24. So, recently, there was a woman, a journalist, who came to Chicago from the South in the late 1800s because of work that she was doing in the South, and her life was being threatened. And she came here, but she continued her work. And she was a journalist, and she was doing an anti-lynching crusade. And they recently named a part of the expressway after her.
Now y'all know this.
Yeah. And just let me know which one you said.
It'll be well.
And then, how much is on this Disney? $25. Okay, so they won't. I still got one more. Okay. I still got one
Guys, ladies, sisters and brothers.
We have 2 items left. We got 2 items left on the agenda, and then we go. One thing we do every month is we highlight either a police officer or a community member that has done extensive work in public safety and or policing accountability. Our officer that we were going to honor tonight could not be here, but I still wanted to at least read off her bio for you all, and we'll present the officers with her award, and they will give it to her. This is called the Above and Beyond Award. So again, it really showcases an officer in our community that has been extensively involved in public safety or police accountability. So for this month, we were going to honor, again, Women's History Month, Officer Michelle Williams, who was once at one time a DCO, District Coordination Officer, but is now in CAPS. And we were trying to navigate away from CAPS, and we found our way right back. So there's that. Anyway, Officer Williams, Michelle Williams, has been a lifetime resident of Austin. She was born and raised in the community she loves and is 100% vested in it. Officer Williams attended Central State University in Ohio and returned to Austin to teach special needs children at Austin's own McNair Elementary for 7 years. She loved being a teacher in her hometown and made a lot of great long-term relationships with the community members. Even though teaching was dear to Officer Williams' heart, her ambition was always to become a police officer. With hard work and dedication, she made that dream come true and became a police officer in the great city of Chicago. Not only did she want to give back to the community, but her goal was to serve and protect the neighborhood she, her family, and friends live in. This led Officer Williams to make her way back to the community she calls home in Austin. Officer Williams has worked the beats of Austin for a while. Y'all know how many years? 6 or 7 years. And she decided to join the community policing's DCO team, District Coordination Officer, as I mentioned. Officer Williams was a DCO for 2 years, and it gave her an opportunity to address the community in a different way, in a more personal and accessible approach. As a DCO, Officer Williams has helped many residents of Austin by providing resources, guidance, support, and collaboration with many of the great organizations that reside in Austin. As a DCO, Officer Williams has had an amazing opportunity to work as a mentor coach for Chicago's Westside Sports, Austin's Peace Corner basketball and baseball teams. This program allows youth, police, and sports to come together to provide a safe and fun environment with little help and guidance along the way. Officer Williams currently works as the Affinity Liaison Officer in the CAPS office, providing resources to people experiencing homelessness, the LGBTQ community, and various affinity groups in Austin. Officer Williams is also a certified GREAT instructor. Great. What is it? Gang resistance. EAT. And she educates and trains kids at schools about gang resistance. Officer Williams loves Austin not only because she is from there, but because of how community oriented it is, which is why it is so important for her to do this work. Officer Williams gives back as much as she loved, as much as her favorite neighborhood in Chicago needs. So, again, Officer Williams could not be here, but we wanted to bless her for Women's History Month, all the work she does. And so, like I said, every month we give an award to community and or police, and next month we'll have a community member to select. But this particular award says, the heart of a leader manifests itself through service to others. This certificate of appreciation is in grateful recognition of your continued service and support, and we hereby present DCO Michelle Williams with this certificate of recognition for your service, leadership, and courage on behalf of the 15th District Council.
Okay, so that's the last Women's History Month question for us. So, please raise your hand. Who was the first African American female millionaire in America? Oh, wait, no, young people. Young people. I saw her hand go up first on Netflix. I saw your hand go first. We'll just ask another question. Her hand went up next. It wasn't Oprah. It was Madam C.J. Walker. And her hand went up here. Thank you. And so, I want to thank Rooster Fruit, and I want to thank Alston for being out here tonight.
Thank you all.
And I also want to say, I hope everybody signed in. If young people, you have any leadership here, I hope you signed in, because we do have other things that we want to work on in 15. Like we want to work on an intergenerational play night, day for young people, older people to get together, because y'all don't play no more. And we played a whole lot. It helps us build social skills. And to this young man right here from Rooster Fruit, who was at the cafe with us, what's his name?
Devontae.
I took your advice, and so I'm working on that piece. When I said we wanted officers to be mindful, and you say community members need to be mindful as well, so I'm revamping that piece because of the conversation that you brought to us. So I just want you to know that. So y'all stay tuned with us. Please make sure you send it. Please write something on those boards back there. What do you love about Austin? If you could change one thing in Austin, what would it be? Or how you change the negative in Austin to a positive? And
last thing, our next meeting is 4/8, so April 8th at 6 p.m. It'll be at 1101 South Austin.
1101 South Austin.
That is a church right on the corner. You can't miss it. I can't think of the name right now. New Jehovah Church.
New Jehovah.
1101 South Austin will be the next meeting.
You say that's, what's that date?
6.
What's that date?
April 8th.
April 8th?
Thank y'all.
My bad.
Oh, okay. It was there. Yeah, right? Yeah. So I'll make a motion to end our meeting. Yeah, you can second the motion.
there we go. All in favor? Aye. Good night.
Yeah, how you feeling? Good. Hanging in there.
Yeah, I'm finish up. Thank you for coming.
Hey, let me out, please.
I would have been there earlier, but I had to get out here. I just got out for like 30 minutes.